Yo, I move in tranquility, also virility, keep it 100, and I move with fertility, giving birth to all the truth in the Caesar's planet, trying to be one of the dopest kings that received this planet, taking dominion, and I ain't got time for no minions. I just want to make this money, stack my bread up with millions, do this for my children, and do it all for my legacy. Let me see, wisdom, knowledge, long life, and longevity. I'm a king. I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? We some kings. Y'all already know what it is, man. Salute, a huge salute from the VKP Virility Kings podcast, man. Did y'all miss us? We've been gone for a little minute, you know what I'm saying? But we're definitely back. And this episode is actually very, very interesting, man, because we're talking about if men are intimidated by educated women with money. Now, this right here, this is a very kind of trippy topic to me because there's a lot of perspectives. You know, certain men feel a certain way, certain women feel a certain way about this. The biggest thing that I've noticed is like some women be kind of like, you know, saying, "Oh man, women, you know, men they're just intimidated because I got money, and they're just intimidated because, you know, I have this education and I'm so intelligent and smart." We're gonna dig deep on that today, man. But anyway, Tony, how you feeling, brother? How's my man feeling today?
I am enduring. I'm embracing my masculinity to endure, building that kingdom.
Hey, that's how we do it, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing that we could do, guys, especially as men. We have to understand and embrace that, you know, no matter what, you know, we have to be our security. We really have to look into ourselves, embrace ourselves, embrace that masculinity, and understand that, you know, we're responsible for us at the end of the day. You know, if we got women, if we got kids, they're going to be dependent on us, right? So we have to embrace ourselves and embrace our masculinity. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. So just right off the bat, I think the first thing we need to touch on is the actual title, straight up, like first things first. So, Tony, are men intimidated by educated women with money? What's your perspective on this, Tony?
My perspective is no. And I want to say no for two distinct examples that I've encountered all through my life. But first, this is not saying no as in me trying to protect the male ego. Like, oh, no, I'm not intimidated. No, it's not that energy. It's no because, number one, you do have the masculine, more traditional-minded men who just don't really care about a woman's money. They don't care about how much or how little money you make. They want to do their role as a man for you, the individual female. And then you have this other sector of men who I don't kind of support, but given the logic of our modern day society, it makes sense. The men who want a woman with money because they don't mind the idea of being a house husband. And I've met many men who just, okay, hey, if my woman wants to go out and work, that's cool. I'll stay home, freaking bake the pies, clean the house, play with the kids. And they're okay with that. So I don't see how men or how women can still go on that narrative trying to make themselves seem big and bad when I encounter men like that all the time. Either they're going to work hard and pay the bills for you, or they're going to, even if you got money, they're going to do that, or the modern way of they'll accept the position of being a house husband. They don't care. There's several men who I know who are with, you know, females who are getting their degrees, trying to be nurses. Yeah, they're going to eventually make buku money over the men they're with. Do they sound intimidated? They cohabitated until she was able to get her degree and get that X amount of money. So if he was intimidated, why would he stay with her in order to do that? I'll tell you why I wouldn't allow it, because I'm not allowing a woman to get this money just so she can later on disrespect me. That's how I would say it, because a lot of women, but this is the root of their argument of why men are intimidated, because they lord it over men. There's the factor of that, because once a woman gets that education, all this money, their expectations and their standards go up. and it becomes annoying because that's the only thing you talk about, and you brag about how smart and educated you are. You're not intimidating. You're just annoying, sweetheart.
I totally feel where you're coming from, man. And like on my perspective with it too, I just feel like a lot of these women, kind of use that as kind of like their point. You know what I'm saying? If they're in an argument or if you arguing with them or something like that, it's almost as if that's always their driving point to kind of, prove what they're saying and to prove why they deserve power in a situation sometimes. I don't think that men are intimidated, just like you. I don't think that men are intimidated by that. There probably are some men that are intimidated, but I believe that that's the minority of men, and I don't think that men are intimidated. I think that, a lot of men just don't necessarily uh, want a
Care.
woman who's going to use that. Yeah. Like, honestly, men really don't care, honestly. I mean, it's not something that we're necessarily worried about, but we obviously don't want a woman who's walking in pride because of her education and because of her money. I think that's the thing. I think women think that men are intimidated by that, or not all women, but some, may think that men are intimidated by that, when in all actuality, some men just don't like it because some women move in like a pompous fashion about their money, about, their education. And like you said, it's very annoying. I think men just don't find it favorable in women when they're walking like proudly with it. It's one thing for a woman to be somewhat modest about it. It's one thing for a woman to utilize that and make it of some value to add to the kingdom, to add to the dominion. You know what I'm saying? But it's another thing for a woman to kind of speak about it, brag about it, and feel like she needs to boast about her education and about the money that she has brought to the table. It's like at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Like, we don't really care about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all honesty, I think I will say this, I'm not gonna lie. I will say this, that some men, it's not that men are intimidated, I don't think that these guys are intimidated. I think that it's a masculine thing if they have a woman and the man is in a position where he can't really provide the way that he wants to, but the woman is thriving and she got money, and she has an education and she's providing in a great deal and, in a great fashion. I think for some men, it's not comfortable for the man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they're intimidated. I think they just don't. It's not favorable to a man because we are naturally built to be the one that's dependent on, to be the leader, to be the breadwinner, to be the one that's pretty much, bringing all the money in and taking care of business in its totality of the situation. So I don't think that men are intimidated by it. I think men just kind of feel like, as the man of this relationship, walking in my masculinity, I need to be the king in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And usually who feels like they're the most dominant? It's usually the one who has the most money. It's usually the one who has the most money in the situation. So it's like, a man is not going to really feel super comfortable with his woman or his wife being mad dominant in a situation. A masculine men, we don't like that. That shit is not attractive to us. Like, period. We don't want that. I don't know no man that want that. Would you want that, Tony? I know Tony don't want that shit.
No, sir.
So, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of women and a lot of people get this whole intimidated thing twisted. I don't think that it's an intimidation. I think it's literally just a man calculating his options and feeling like, hey, if I had to choose, I'm not necessarily looking to go after a woman who's going to walk proudly in this idea of her being educated and having money. If you're going to move in that type of fashion, you can take your money, take your ass over there. If you're going to be humble, I might fuck with you. But other than that, get out of here.
It's this it goes to what I said before about how women feel like they need to compete with men, and the men who are walking their masculinity, they don't want to compete with a woman. They will freaking avoid you for just bringing that to the table. Wait a minute, you sound like the young bucks I have to freaking headbutt with, and here you are, female. I ain't gonna do that. That's lowering my own dignity just to argue with you over the fact you got more money than me. Cool, you got more money, then you do your own thing. You have taken my supposed role out of the equation. So there's no reason for me to fuck with you. As far as I'm concerned, you got more money than me. We're done. We're not doing this.
Straight up. And I totally understand where you're coming from. And then that whole idea of like competing, like it should never be a situation where a man and a woman are together and the man and the woman are trying to compete with each other. But most importantly, 8 times out of 10, it's usually the woman trying to compete with the man. And that's the part that's very toxic. Because think about it. If it's a situation where it's competition, right? Then that means that there's 2 separate sides that are divided from each other, and they're literally competing for something. What are y'all competing for? What is you and the chick that you're supposed to be with, or the woman that you're with? What are y'all competing for? At the end of the day, in my mind frame, I think that if a woman wants to compete with a man, she's obviously trying to compete for dominance. And at the end of the day, the fuck, why do you want to be with a man and want to have dominance in the situation? That sounds pretty backwards to me.
Because a lot of women, the lie of feminism has told women that they have to be strong. No, you don't. There is a plethora of men who will be strong for you, and that's not even to necessarily dominate you, but it is the role, the provider, protector. There are men willing to suit that role. They just want you to be a loving wife.
Yeah, like I don't want to put too much of my business out there with me and my wife, but I'm sure she won't mind if I kind of share this. But like, me and my wife, we've had different experiences in our marriage, and even before we was married, because we both come from, a traumatic past. We both had, kind of like rough childhoods. So being together, our journey of healing and growing together, it's been a together thing. And some of it has caused conflict with us. Some of it has actually caused us to embrace each other and love each other more. It's deep how that could happen. But the reason why I'm expressing this is because, it obviously took me and my wife some time for us to both realize that, we don't need to compete with each other. And we could actually trust each other. We could actually love each other. And if we trust each other, love each other, and be vulnerable with each other, we'll work better as a team. It was hard for us to really embrace that at first because of what we were dealing with. But, as I was healing and really embracing my masculinity more, really becoming more manly, if you will, I guess you could say that. But just me really just understanding what it means to be a man. My wife, I think she still kind of was still dealing with some of those, I guess those triggers or those wounds that would make her feel like she doesn't want to look weak in a situation. Or she doesn't want to look like weak, insecure, soft. And, I had to really tell my wife, like, look, babe, I love you like that. I love you, not saying that I want you to be weak, but I love you in your weakness. I love you, in wherever you are that's insecure and very vulnerable, because that's who you are. And a lot of women don't realize that they end up fucking themselves up with men trying to hide that part of them, because all men really want is you to just be real and to be vulnerable and to open up to them so that they can console you with their strength, their stoic, solid persona, and give you that comfort that you really, really want from a man. And I think women end up, unfortunately, fucking that up because they feel like they need to hide that. Some women, not all. And when I say not all, I mean like it depends on how insecure a woman is. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what level of insecurity she's dealing with. But if she is a very insecure woman and it's hard for her to embrace that fact, she's gonna try to hide it. She's gonna try to hide it. And that's even a bigger issue. And I think that was the biggest thing that I was trying to get my wife to understand. I'm like, babe, like you have to understand that I love you more when you're sitting in your truth. When you start trying to hide, your vulnerabilities, or if you feel insecure, or if you have these different feelings because you think I'm gonna look at you as weak, then that shit turns me off. You know what I'm saying? It turns me off. Because that's something that men do. That's something that us as men typically would do. We'll typically hide some of our vulnerabilities because we don't want to be viewed as weak, because we were told we can't be weak. So at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make is women, just be real and just express who you truly are. And a real masculine man will embrace that and love you in that. We're not going to be looking at you crazy because you're weak. We expect it, and we expect to be the strength of the union. So it's fine, you know. But yeah,
I think for relationships, men would appreciate a woman being her most feminine for her man, not just for men, but for her man. For another man that that you're not really feeling, just be a casual civilian. Hello, sir, how you doing? But keep it moving. But for your man, baby, can you hold my purse? I will hold your purse. Okay, you just do the little sweet stuff. Yeah. And then we get that intruder man. Then you could probably what's the word? Boss up. Hey baby, how you doing? I got a man. You can do it then. You can get hard then.
tough as you want. You can be hard as nails. You know, if a nigga try to hop up, that's when you turn up. That's real shit. But yeah.
Claw's freaking eyes out. I'm sorry, I'm goofy tonight.
And yeah, that's another thing I tell my wife too. I'd be like, babe, there is specific things where you may have to kind of slightly tap into a little masculine energy. And I'm like, not a lot, but just a little bit for certain things. Like, if something do pop off, and we get into it and some women or another couple acting crazy, I might need you to kind of grab the chick up and choke slam her, while I handle the dude. Like, what I'm saying? You never know what might happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if push come to shove, there's situations where, you may need to turn that on and it be necessary. But the biggest thing that I want to stress is we should never do that between each other. Like, it should never be me and you and us coming at each other with those types of energies, because it's no competition, first of all. Like, let's just keep it 100. Unless you just with a soft ass, excuse my language, bitch ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like a soft dude that just lets the world just walk all over him. At the end of the day, it really ain't gonna be too much of a competition. So at the end of the day, it's really not necessary. We just may as well bring the walls down, bring the guards down, and just be real. But back to the main point, though. Men, like I said, I honestly don't think that that most men are intimidated by educated women with money. And another reason why I'm gonna say that is because, I'm gonna keep it 100. I actually like women who have a level of intellectual capability and a great capacity of intellectual capability. You know what I'm saying? I like women who have a great capacity of intellect. I like women who are very knowledgeable, and I like women who can come with me and we can have a deep conversation and come to an agreed space of understanding. I like women who I can talk to and we can, share, powerful information with each other. I think that that's very powerful in a relationship. And if a woman's educated and she retained a lot of information, that's a lot of possible value that could be brought to the union. You know what I'm saying? So like, I actually don't find it intimidating at all. I find it annoying if a woman's trying to act like she's more knowledgeable than me or trying to compete, trying to see who the most knowledgeable. That's the shit I don't fucking like with women.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's way out there. But, it is what it is. What you think about that, Tony? Like, what's your view on like women, trying to, I guess, compete with the level of knowledge that they have, concerning you or with you?
It's the feminism the flex that feminism gave a lot of women. Get your education up. I remember not too long ago, while I was still watching some TV, they were always trying to push those virtual colleges, and the image they will always put out there is a single mother trying hard and struggling. And it's like, would you be struggling if you were a softer woman and you actually kept a man around? Would you really need to be struggling like this, trying to be part of the workforce and think like you got to compete? And then a lot of women want the housewife goal, but they want it after this long journey of going into debt, trying to compete, get the office job, and all that bunch of mess. And then with that traveling, that experience makes their expectations go up, because they used to the argument, my lifestyle standards go up, or whatever their expectation. So if they make $100,000, they want a man to make two, and it's like, wow, you're just minimizing your pool of men as you go up. But if you are just a simple, let's just say no debt, 21 to 25, you work at Subway and you don't have any serious debt, yeah, you're just keeping yourself up. You can get any man you want. Let's be honest. So you're defeating yourself with the whole college route, and you know, appreciate the blue collar man. Women have this high expectation of the Disney fantasy. You know, just Aladdin's gonna come on his magic carpet and swoop you off your feet. Are you sure about that? When you got the construction crew guy, he's down there, he's making decent money. He's willing to bring that paycheck home to you and put you a house up. And you're going to disrespect him just because he's a construction guy. He comes home dirty. That's fucked.
It's messed up, man. Like, and that part is even crazier to me. But you know, one thing that women need to understand too is like making all the money in the world and having an education. They need to ask themselves, is that going to be enough for them if that's all they had? Like if all they had was their education, if all they had was their money, is that enough for them? And I think a lot of women can honestly probably admit that it don't matter how much money they got, it don't matter how much education they have, they still feel empty without a man. And I guarantee that. I guarantee you it's rich women right now, rich single women who, you know, are going through it. And I don't say this to kind of like knock women or I don't even say this to tell women to not, you know, get an education. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if a woman wants to be educated, just to expand her knowledge, that's fine. Just to grow in terms of what you know, and maybe even to get into something and to do something. But at the end of the day, what would really be the point? You know, in a union or in a marriage, or even with a man, like, you put yourself in debt. Are you going to literally do that? Whatever you're going to school for, whatever major you're getting, are you going to literally seek to prosper in that and do that? Or are you just going to put yourself in debt and have a fucking degree, piece of paper and shit, and not even do shit with it and waste all your fucking money on your degree?
It's sad, but our modern times, along with since women want to be equal after we got air conditioning in offices, that's when they wanted to be equal. And then two, this whole degree thing is actually keeping them enslaved to a degree, if I may use that bold term, because the borrower is slave to the lender, and it's basically a big racket at this point.
That's a fact.
So if y'all want to keep going down that path, not saying don't do it, but if you're going to, this is just a little off topic. If you're going to do something college educated wise, do something that's actually in a lucrative field. It's not going to be your dream per se, but if you stick to developing a useful skill that is employable and desirable, you'll make it in the market.
Exactly. So here's another thing. So here's another question. So Tony, why do you think that women like to use this statement? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think women like to use this statement? Oh, you know, men are just intimidated by, you know, women with money and women that are educated. Why do you think women like to use that as a point or an argument as to why, I guess, why men aren't dealing with them or staying with them?
Because they don't want to accept the accountability that they are the problem. Women control the sexual market and basically who gets to have sex or not. So if they're over here just acting, you know, like a masculine male, what masculine male wants to deal with that and try to compete with that from the jump? But rather than accepting, oh, I've been sold a lie, throwing feminism under the bus, throw away feminism. So I've been sold a lie. I need to actually learn how to act like a woman, rather than fully admitting that. And then that means you'll have to compete or have to combat the go along to get along game that is feminism. Instead of you fighting that whole battle, you just co-sign with the idea, oh, it's men's problem. It's men's fault. And ladies, more and more men are waking up thanks to this channel right here. There's other red pill content, and we're just like noticing, and we're finally stopped thinking we're our dick so much. Y'all are not worth to be dealing with on that note. If y'all want to trip like that, we're going to trip away, walking away from the table, and you're only hurting yourselves.
Facts. Because y'all know deep down inside, that's all that y'all want is us. Like at the end of the day. I mean, everything, all the way down to the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they act, it's all to attract men, whether they want to admit it or not. And yeah, I mean,
oh wait, quick. Here's a quick question on that note.
yeah.
If women are so strong, independent, all that good stuff, why is it that their mainstream narrative is to still make demands from men?
Exactly.
If you're independent, strong, and all that, then you should leave men alone. But here you are still making demands from men. Got to treat you a certain way because you're still trying to cling to that Disney fairy tale while you're trying to walk and talk like a man, and then still expect a wife's end result. You see how confused you making it? That's on you.
It's so complicated. It's like, yo, make up your mind. You want to be independent or you want a man? You want to be independent or you want a man? Because unfortunately, what ends up happening in a lot of these situations is they get with men, especially masculine men, who's not going to tolerate the bullshit. And either one or two things are going to happen. Unfortunately, if the woman is just wilding out and she's still trying to fight that, trying to come with that fight, that toxic energy, and still trying to fight, which that trying to get that dominance and trying to fight, the dude is either gonna put her on her fucking head, boom, and slam it down, be like, yo, I done told you, shut the fuck up, either that's gonna happen, or or he's just gonna leave her and he's just gonna walk away from her. He's just gonna be like, I'm done with you, bitch. You don't. And that's the unfortunate thing for them because they end up just being in a position where they shit out of luck. And it's like, yo, if you would have just humbled yourself, respected that man's masculinity, respected the fact that he is the one to be dominant, things would have worked out well. It would have worked out swell. So, it is what it is. But man, we got up in here? We got what the fuck sport moments up in the building. He said, yo, threw up the
what the fuck sport moments.
Yeah, I'm going to check my man channel out. That shit probably lit. You know what I'm saying? It's probably crazy. He said, yo, salute to what the fuck sports moments. That's lit. And then we got cool J2 Saucy. Of course, he always coming through with that energy. He said, God loves you. Remember that. Super facts, man. Appreciate that energy as always. All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and kind of transition this episode to an excerpt. It's actually Steven Speaks. He's actually a very respected guy. This video in particular, I'll say what I think about it, but we're definitely going to react to it and say what we think. But he's pretty much talking about are men intimidated by successful women? So we're going to check this out real quick. I'm actually real excited, and we're going to give how we, what we think about it. So, but yeah, man, like I said, I think that some men probably will kind of feel a bit off-put, you know what I'm saying, at first. When you get around a woman that's very successful, got money, boom, bam, boom, because it's like a man in his mind, he's going to think, okay, how can we bring both of our worlds together? And how will I still stand as king with this woman? Is she going to think that she's higher and mightier than me because she has the success? I don't think that men are necessarily intimidated by the woman. I think we're just very cautious about the woman. I think we're very, very
think about the long term of if I engage any further with this woman.
Exactly. And, and it's very understandable. But all right, so we're going to check out Steven Speaks. We're going to check out Steven Speaks. And let's see what he got to speak about this one. All right. I actually rock with him, though. He's a cool dude, down-to-earth dude. I'm not going to lie. He's very, very knowledgeable. And I agree with some of the stuff that he says, but what's this?
Can you hear him?
Yeah. Can you hear him?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. So you can't hear. Okay. All right. Let me check this out real quick. We're gonna try this again, y'all. Oh, I think I see what's going on. Let me see. Share screen. Oh, okay. My fault. All right. Remix. We're gonna run it back. All right. We're good now, Tony. Tony.
Yes, sir.
All right. So listen, and I say this with love. All right. So an issue that a lot of successful women have is thinking that their accomplishments and success is intimidating the men. And there are some men who exist who are intimidated. However, it's not your success, it's your energy. It's the attitude that comes with that. And the reality is that for a successful woman, many have bought into the idea that you have to hold on to masculine energy in the workplace to get ahead, to be respected. But you don't know how to turn it off when you get into the relationship. And also, what you don't realize is that masculine energy is your wall up. It is a defense mechanism. And you think it's protecting you, but the same walls that you have up to protect you are the same walls blocking your blessings. All right? So, one tip is you have to change your energy. You have to tap into your feminine energy. Now, I had a person that got upset at me about saying that. But let me ask y'all a question. By a show of hands, how many women in here desire a man who exudes feminine energy? Two people, all right? Two people, all right? Two people, maybe three. So the reality is this. Y'all don't want no over-feminized man. Why would a man want to over-masculinize woman? All right? You have to understand that. And there's nothing wrong with it. We want a balance of energy in our relationships. We have to be true to what our essence and our real energy is. So as a woman, tap into your feminine energy, number one. Number two, stop leading with your accomplishments and lead with your character. All right? The man who has his stuff together does not care about your money. He doesn't care about your degrees. That's not in a disrespectful way. That's not to dismiss all the things, the great things you've done. But have y'all not noticed that a man could be a millionaire and he will marry the cashier at Chick-fil-A? All right? Yep. But a woman is a millionaire and she wants another CEO because she values the house, the accomplishments, the education. Do not evaluate yourself based on the same scale you evaluate men. Understand what men are wanting, the type of men that you want. And the man who has his stuff together wants to be loved, supportive, know he can open up to you. He wants that positive feminine energy. And any of y'all who don't believe me, just try it. Try it for 1 week. Quick story. I know I'm going over, but a quick story. I had a client. She's in London. She's a runway model. Very Christian woman. She was like, no one would ask her on a date. Now, I do sessions sometimes by Skype, so I saw her. I said, yeah, because you're too rough. You look rough, all right? Like, you're beautiful, but you give off a lot of hard energy. And I'm like, we got to change that. She was like, what do you want me to do? You want me to walk around with a flower in my head? I said, yes. For 1 week, put a flower in your head, change the energy, change the colors, because colors emit energy. Be aware of the colors you are wearing and what it's saying and how it's presenting you. She did what I told her. I promised her anything. Day 2, she got asked on a date. But the best part about it, she said, I never felt so much like a woman in my life. I felt good. Because the reality is that y'all don't want that masculine energy. Y'all don't want that burden. Y'all have it because you feel like you have to do it to survive, to protect yourself. But most of y'all, not all of y'all, will love a man that you can rely on, who is going to protect you, who's going to be there for you, and who will carry that masculine energy for you. Be honest about that. So yes, tap into your feminine energy and don't lead with your accomplishments, lead with your character.
Big facts. So yeah, man, definitely, man. 100%, man. I totally agree with my man and what he's saying. And I think a lot of women definitely fall victim to that. Like leading with this energy. And like you said, it's a guard, in which I was saying earlier, it's a huge guard. It's a guard, and it literally comes from women who most of the time have been through things in their lives. It's hard for them to trust people. It's hard for them to trust men for specific reasons. And it just makes it more difficult for them. Men, we're not intimidated by a successful woman. We really don't give a fuck about that. Our main thing is, is she going to be loving to me? Is she going to be loving to our children if we have children? Like, is she going to be respectful? Is she going to admire my dominance and not feel threatened or, unsafe by me being dominant? Is she going to appreciate what I do? Is she going to like add peace to my life and not add mad stress to my life? That's what men are really thinking about. We don't give a fuck about the money. We don't care about that shit. So what you think about what my man said, Tony?
When he said leading with the character is way more important than leading with your accomplishments, that hit the nail on the head for me. Because I hear a woman talking about her accomplishments. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like, I'm not going to argue with you on that. Hey, I respect work. I'm not going to dismiss you from doing your work. But I'm picking up the red flag. And this is what you are. You're not a woman. You're not a good woman to me because you don't know how to be because I'm already that. Everything that you're proud of that you're doing, that you're boasting around, I already have that energy, but tamed. It's like, this is what I do. I don't go around bragging about it. But there you are doing it. That reflects it's your insecurity. But again, women are naturally insecure. They do want protection from an outside source, mostly men. But it's like you're acting like an insecure man, though. That's what a lot of insecure men do. They beat on their chest and try to hide their insecurity by trying to bolster and tell everybody else how badass they are. You're doing the same tactic when you probably shouldn't if you want the man to actually take care of you to a degree. You want the protection from a man. Well, stop acting like one. Act like a woman. A good example. This female, she was a girlfriend of another dude, but this other guy came in the gym. He was a legit creeper. Over there, just eyeballing the hell out of her and stuff. But what did she do? She came to me and was like, "This guy is following me around too much, and he's starting to piss me off." Once I seen who the guy was, I'm like, oh, that chump. Okay, that figures. So I just started hanging around her a little bit more, and he basically stopped coming to the gym a couple of days after that.
Damn.
So, and that's because she was basically kind to me. Because if she was the He-Man woman like some of the other women I deal with, freaking, she probably handled the business herself if she wanted to. But since she was more feminine, she came to me, and I just basically boasted up around her. Yeah, you need a spot? I got you. Making those side glances at that dude. I did because he was a legit creeper.
Yeah, and it's
I know that's a little bit of the white knight card. I'll take the hit there, but the dude was creeping. He was being that dude that makes men look bad. So, and men, we do try to hold ourselves accountable to a degree. You're creeping on the women, dude. You need to stop that. Maybe not for their safety, but for the male dignity. I want to tighten that up just a little bit right there.
Yeah, me personally, I don't even think that that's white knighting. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. She came to you and she chose you. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it ain't like you just walked up on the scene and was like, yo, boom, 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 stop creeping her, man. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But like that's more like on some white knight shit. But she literally came to you, chose you, and you just stood in your masculinity. I mean, it ain't, you ain't really do too much. She was around you. She chose you. So if a woman choose, that's just her choosing. So, but yeah, I feel where you're coming from with that. And at the end of the day, like women can honestly get whatever the fuck they want if they walk in their femininity. That's the thing. They don't even be realizing that, like, some of these women that choose to not do that or try to walk in this false masculine bravado, that, like my man said, they're messing up their own blessing. Like, they're messing it up for themselves when they do that. Men, we are so much more responsive to a feminine woman. Why? Because it's opposite from us. It's opposite, and opposites do attract. So that energy, like I can't express how much I love it. You know, like it's one thing to be interacting with my wife. You know, she's walking in her femininity. She's embracing that. She's expressing that. I just want to just fucking grab her up and just bring my masculine energy in there. But when I start sensing some other shit, you know, then it's like, oh hell, you know, you start sensing some other energy was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Okay, see, now I'm ready to kind of walk the fuck away. You know, now I'm ready to leave. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm ready to get out of here. And unfortunately, a lot of these women don't realize that they really push men away when they do that. They really fuck it up. And it's not that men are intimidated by them. It's that men don't want that. We don't want you in that energy. If we wanted masculinity, we would go get men. I mean, it's really that simple. So, you know, that's something that women just have to understand and have to accept. You know, and they got to stop trying to use that as a way of throwing off the fact that they don't want to take accountability. That they don't want to be accountable for the fact that they sitting here fronting, acting masculine when they know damn well they feminine. When they're by themselves, they know they feminine. Can't hide that forever. You know what I'm saying? It's you are who you are at the end of the day. All right, so Sharon Constable, she said just dropped in to say hello to you both. Yo, what's up, Sharon? Salute. Glad to have you. You know, that's what's up. Glad you came through. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and play another video. That was actually a good video, though. Y'all check him out, man. Was it Steven Speaks? It's pretty dope. But now I'm gonna play a different video, and this is actually a Steve Harvey episode. Y'all might have seen this, but this one is pretty interesting to me too. But I'm not gonna say whether I believe, whether I agree or not until afterwards. Share system audio.
Hey, do you want to join the Six-Figure Club? Well,
No,
you can.
I don't want to join.
Google and other tech
don't want to
companies are
join it. I'm
hiring
not interested.
hundreds of thousands of workers in non-coding positions.
Nobody pay attention to that.
The hottest technology companies are ready to hire for tech sales and customer success roles, and have partnered with SV Academy.
Skip.
So, gentlemen, here's the question. Are you okay with your female partner being the breadwinner in the family?
Absolutely, I can't.
Make that money.
Yeah, get that money.
Make that. Hit the streets,
Money. What?
My man said
Oh,
it's the
no.
streets.
We deserve this,
Hell no.
Steve.
Yeah.
Been in these streets a long time. Chasing this paper. I encourage my wife right now. She has a beauty business. I say,
Yeah.
you go get it.
There you go.
What do you need? You go get it.
Wait, I don't understand. Why would the women feel uncomfortable? That
Well, they feel uncomfortable because the men feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
doesn't
it's-
want to put a man down.
yeah, doesn't want to put a man down.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to. She wants to uplift her man. I'm saying,
Right.
like, you know, I'm also trying to look at it like I'm making an investment. We're all saying that. And if Ida comes back with that bread, I'm gonna be there to cut it and make a toast out of it, and serve it. I'm good.
See, I'm the old school version of it. I would really be uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it was like the upbringing was, it's your job. That's your job is to take care of a family, period. That's your job. I didn't know no other way. So I would be uncomfortable. Now, my wife too is getting into a line of business. I'm totally supportive of her. If she can make more money than me, oh man, that'll be cool as hell. Cause that we can take that money and I can retire.
Word.
I feel like the rhetoric where the man has to came with the rhetoric where the woman is obligated to stay at home and give birth and cook and clean. And I think that rhetoric is out. Why do we still keep this one?
Yeah.
You know, so I think we just clean slate. You make money, I'm gonna support it. I make money, you better support me.
Yeah.
Life
I
with it.
also think that we understand now that we understand more about the household and what kind of job that is.
Yeah.
Like when I stay home with the kids for 24 hours, that's a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
crazy.
Like
No, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. How would you feel about being a stay-at-home dad, taking care of the house?
You know what?
And she was out making money.
I was raised the same way you were. My father was an Italian immigrant. His dad did for his family. My dad did for my family. I was divorced a few years ago, and I made a conscious decision after my divorce. I have 2 children that we share custody of, that I didn't even look for work. I wanted at least a 2 to 3 year window where I said I wanted to stay home and spend time with them.
Yeah.
Having done that, I have no problem with it because, like Tank just said, that is a job. That is not at 9 to 5. That is 24/7.
Yeah.
It's a job. So
that's true.
And it has to be like, I mean, a lot of times people see it as men not having ambition. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a space within that where you can decide, I want to be the best homemaker that I can be as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm ambitious about that. I'm gonna cook, okay? I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna run some bath water.
Steve, like, hell no.
Get off your feet. You've been out a long day. Let me rub your feet. Take them shoes. Come on now. Come on now.
wait, are you reciting?
When my woman get home from work, I'm laying in the bed like this. You been waiting on me? You've been at work all day. Come on in here.
Hell no.
Come on in here.
Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be tackling the bro code. Is it ever okay to break the code? We're going to hear what the panel got to say about that. Keep it right there.
Yo, that shit is funny as hell, man. Yo, so see, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like me personally, I'm going more with Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like in preference, I honestly would definitely prefer that I be the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? That I'm making the most money in the home. You know, I'm solidifying us with that financial security and that financial foundation. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even raised up with that type of household, but I understand and I can even remember how rough it was for us because we didn't have that. You know, we didn't have that man in the household that would solidify that financial foundation. And I mean, it was very traumatic for me all the way to the point where I struggled in my own adulthood, even being a father, to take care of my family. So like, that's why I value it so much. That's why I'm so serious about it. And I'm super determined to, solely do that. Me personally, I would not be comfortable at all, like with my wife being a breadwinner. Hell no. It just doesn't seem right to me. You know what I'm saying? It don't seem natural. Like what some of these guys were saying, and we talked about this before, Tony, in terms of my perspective, like I would be okay with my wife, kind of like how Steve said his wife got a little venture that she doing. I'd be okay with that if that's bringing finances to the union, to our, our family, our kingdom, my kingdom. That's fine. But it'll never be a situation where it's like, oh, okay, what she doing, that's what we're going to live off of, and that's what's going to support us as a family. I'm not comfortable with that, nor do I agree with that shit. I don't think that any man should feel comfortable with that. But to each his own, though. What you think about that, Tony? Where you at?
Pretty much on the same page as you, because since definitely more on a pro-masculinity kick and trying to bring men back into the masculine frame, we have to have a harder pushback on this modern cosign 50-50 crap. Okay, it's not about 50-50, it's about your role. And the man's role is the provider protector. So that means you the breadwinner. And I don't know, if I'm in a relationship, that's just me personally, I'm not 100% against my woman working, but it's not she doesn't want to, I don't want her to take it to an ambitious level. No, you're not working overtime. No, you're not trying to be the manager. You're not trying to do one of these startup companies. You're not doing any of that. If you're working, it's just basically it's a hobby for you just to pass the time until I get home. And it should not interfere with your wifely duties. And okay, the dude right there where he was talking about how he just gonna be laid out all for his woman and all that good shit. That's a lot of that. I want to say that's a lot of feminine energy right there. But I will give men this credit. They're not to just totally shoot him down. I do believe that a man, just being men that we are, if they were in that role and they accepted it, they would do it like that dude said, with ambition. I think that is honestly being taken advantage of to this degree. Little controversial topic about how they're pushing these little sexual behaviors on our children at schools now. And I think that's part of the problem. I think they're trying to replace women with men because men take the role of what they're programmed to do a lot more serious than women. The prime example, who won that Miss Nevada? It was a freaking male won Miss Nevada. As weird and backwards as it is, but this is the stuff we need to push up against. So men accepting these traditional feminine roles, at the end of the day, you could do it because we have the freedom to do what we want. But if we're going to bring back masculinity and some legit sense of normality, these are the roles we got to just say no to. I don't care if you're a man who's making $50,000 or $200,000. You know your role as the provider, protector. And if a woman does not comply with that, as the breadwinner, she can kick rocks. It's that simple.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? And I think all men should think about their children, especially if they have daughters. Like I got daughters, right? So I feel like in my mind frame, the nuclear family is like a great example of what kids should look forward to in adulthood. Because I feel like that's where they're going to get this solidification of security in their adulthood in relationships, right? So I feel like with my daughter, I want my daughter to grow up seeing that daddy is the one who, handles the finances. Daddy is the one who handles the financial income of the family. Daddy is the one who's going to be able to pay for my wedding. Daddy is the one who da-da-da-da-da. The reason why I want to pass that on to my daughters is because I want them to look for a man who looks to do the same thing. Why? Because when it's time for me to, give my daughter to another man, I want to make sure I'm going to give it to somebody who's going to take care of her, and at the end of the day, even if my son lived with me, right? I would also want him to see me moving in that energy as well, so that he can know, like, all right, bet this is what I'm going to do when I get older. I'm going to look to be the security and the foundation of a family one day. One day I might have kids, and one day, I'll need to be boom, bam, boom for my family. This whole flipping backwards and doing all this shit, man, we already know it's just a perversion in society. We know it's just a perversion. It's a perversion of what works. People can try to call it traditional. They can try to call it all these different things, but at the end of the day, we know damn well that having a family with a masculine man and a feminine woman will breed and bear healthy children, mentally and emotionally. We all know that. Like, it's not even a debate. We all know this to be fact. So if we try to flip that or pervert that, what's going to happen? It's going to affect the kids, just like it's already been affecting the kids from generation to generation. If we want to get technical, a lot of this shit started back in the late 70s, early 80s. It was real dominant in the late 70s, though, especially in the Black community. That's when they literally intentionally started taking Black men out of homes. Whether it was through welfare and being able to qualify for the shit, or whether it was locking Black men up for stupid shit and drugs like marijuana and dumb shit and locking them up for years. We have to understand, we have to accept the fact that all of these things that are happening is literally to further water down and fuck up the next generation. And it's going to continue. And that's what we've been seeing going rampant. Like the stuff that you're talking about, Tony, with, like the man winning Miss Nevada. Or, like I said, I don't have nothing against homosexual people as human beings. I love all people. I can love a homosexual. I can love a homosexual woman and a man. But in terms of what they're doing, I don't get down like that, nor do I condone it. Nor would I want my children to get down like that. But we have to just keep it 100 and keep it 1,000. These things happen, and what is it going to do? It's going to affect the households of children, man, our future children. You got some households where it's 2 moms and 2 dads. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, in my own mental belief, I just view it as, it's all a perversion of what was working and what works. And unfortunately, it's just getting passed down. And we got to do something. We got to be that bold voice as men and women. Women need to embrace their femininity and be that bold voice too with us. And be like, look, you know, we are pro masculine men, feminine women. We are pro that, so that we can stop this shit from getting crazy. And that's just how I feel about it, bro. Straight up.
I agree with you. It's I think we've seen enough where it's like, okay, we made a mistake to allow this leniency. It's like, okay, for lack of a better term, the abnormals of society. No one wants to just basically shun them. We're not at that point. We're moderate enough to be like, it's okay if you act like a responsible adult. No one's really going to bother you. It's that who they call that comedian duo, Key and Peele.
Yeah,
is that their name? They had that scene with the two gay guys. The one dude was acting like a flaming idiot, and the other guy was just more of a straight-laced dude. And you know, at the end, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm just an asshole." You know, that's the acknowledgement that we need to acknowledge right there. You could, it's like no one's questioning the fact that you gay. It's just you acting like a jackass. So there's that, and then we also have to just set stronger examples for our youth, our young boys, our young girls, and try to promote them to be the little kings and the little queens that they ought to be, rather than trying to put the decision in their head, and then they just want to do the things that please adults. So whatever the adults are deeming normal, they're going to emulate it. But this buzzword, this new normal that we got going on right now, it is not good. We're having too many negative results. It's just no. There needs to be a hard stop, and we cannot rely on Big Daddy to get his head out of his ass. We the men, especially the men on the ground level right here, have to be the voices and the examples to like, no, we are stepping away from this table. This shit's fucked up. We're not going to deal with it.
Yeah, man. That powerful point, Tony. And like, honestly, I just really think that the biggest thing is the households. The biggest thing is the generations and the elders of each generation. We're responsible, and we also need to be accountable. You know, I feel like that's the biggest thing. I can honestly say openly, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I know that the reason why I struggled so much being a father for the first, 11 years of my fatherhood and me being a father, I know I struggled because of how I was brought up as a child. I know I struggled because of what I experienced as a child and what I seen to be normal. You know, I know I struggled because of the things that I had to experience, and I also had to accept as normal as a kid, even though it wasn't normal. And I feel like the only way that we really gonna be able to do something about this is if we understand that this shit is really for our kids, bro. Like, it's for the future. Like, we can have a powerful effect on the future of us as human beings, as men and women, if we both just embrace our masculinity and femininity. Like, the women who move with this energy, oh, I'm educated, oh, I got money, oh, I don't even need no man. I really don't even need no man because I got education and money and I'm good. Oh, or I ain't gonna let no man tell me what to do. Or I ain't gonna let no man dominate me. Or I got power in this house. Or he do what I say. I don't do what he say. What they don't realize is they fucking up their children. The children are getting fucked up. I got fucked up. There's billions of other kids that got fucked up, women and men. A lot of the current women right now are just doing what they saw their mommy doing. They just doing what they saw their mommy doing with their dad or with their stepdad or with their mom's boyfriend. And it's like, we have to understand how detrimental this shit is, and we gotta do something about it now, men and women. One more thing, and I'm gonna pass it on to you, Tony, but like, I'm telling y'all, I'm not justifying shit. I'm not even using this as an excuse. This is factual. You know, I literally struggled being a father for the first 10 to 11 years simply because of my father not being there for me at all, and my mom walking in dominance in the household, which I believe probably pushed my father away. All of that was entirely traumatic for me. And it was hard for me to grasp that as a kid. And when I became an adult and when I became a father, I was scared as fuck. I didn't know what to do, man. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any foundation. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. I was scared as shit. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. And this shit is like a fucking, it's a continued cycle, and something has to happen. So as soon as I started embracing my masculinity, that's when things started to change, and I put it on everything. I'm going to stop this generational curse in my family. Can't speak for nobody else, but I know for my shit, I'm going to change this shit before it's all said and done. Straight up.
That's what we need right there, to have that realization point, that aha moment, and then it's on you to make that change.
Straight up.
So more power to you for realizing these, for lack of a better term, weaknesses, but now you're growing and learning from it and making new moves. Yes.
Straight up.
Now, I grew up in a single mother home too, and I was fortunate that my mother, now Big Bad Della, now she has a weird boss status, but it's like boss status as in not the typical loud sassiness, but more like, no, we're going to get this shit right the first time. And she had more of a pig-headedness to try to aim towards that. When, with some stereotypes and misleading things, it was like that end goal was there. So when she was basically raising me, I would say it was more along the lines of trying to be a responsible adult. If I remember correctly, the story she told me, that given the fact that she was a Black single mother, poor, all that good shit, 2 sons by two different men, a deacon of the church that she went to at the time basically shit on her, basically saying that she's going to end up being the stereotype, being the typical stuff. My mother, being the pig-headed woman she is, basically said bet. So she was involved with my education. She was involved with telling me right from wrong. And she was the one who basically initiated my influence of physical fitness. When we trained for football, she was the one who basically did all that. And then I had to, when I grew in my own masculinity, my own person, especially in high school, we had our official headbutt, and she had to admit that, I can't remember what the argument was, but where she was wrong and I was right. She just had to let go of trying to be Big Bad Della, controlling her son so much. And then me jumping to the Marine Corps, the part of the reason I joined the Marine Corps was to cut that mommy chain. And I did that. That helped sharpen that edge a little bit more. After that, a little bit more growing right there, especially during my bouncing phase, it was like, I think I got a lock on life right now. Because I think I'm a weirdo. So I'm looking at life as in, I'm trying to look at it from an objective point of view. What is right? What is wrong? I have that very black and white mentality. And that helped me avoid a lot of the negative stuff. Because it's like, wait a minute. Because I was like, we've seen this pattern. But then you're raised around the go along to get along game, because that's easy. Me, I just looked at the long term. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be in and out of jail. I was offered drugs, fights, and all that bullshit too. But it's like, okay, I got to quit. And luckily that was gearing in me when I was younger. And then I try to pay it forward. That's why I'm more vocal about masculinity and men being men. Women, just calm down. You ain't got to be that hard. I'm more vocal about it because it's going to promote a better outcome for all. But, I keep getting shitted on. So I'm like, all right, fine. So that's why I'm working hard and doing my thing. I could show you better than I could tell you, apparently, because I'm going to get my results and I'm going to show you exactly what I practice, what I preach. And if you want to still argue with the end results of what I do, maybe we are fucked as a society. If I can't show you dead ass, hey, here it is, ABC, and you over here, wow.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be surprised, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how that's how brainwashed society is. Or maybe I shouldn't say society's brainwashed, but that's how brainwashed a lot of us are as people, unfortunately. But I will say that, you know, that light that peeks in, it does touch people. And when it touch people, if it touch enough people, it can affect enough people. So, you know, I honestly feel super optimistic. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think that we're going to reach another dawn. A lot of people look at it like, oh nah, we're just going downhill until the world is over. I think that, you know, there's still hope. You know what I'm saying? And if everybody isn't affected, obviously everybody ain't, but the people who really need it, really deserve it, and really accept it, they're going to be able to walk in it and they're going to be able to reap the benefits of it. And I think that that's when people will probably wake up. It's when we get a good amount of people that's walking in the benefits of personifying this. You know what I'm saying? Walking in that. Men being masculine, women being feminine, women actually understanding the value in that. Men understanding the value in the masculinity. Because it's a powerful reward. Like, it's such a great reward for walking in, honestly, in what I believe we were designed to walk in as men and as women. So, you know, me honestly, I think that the whole, you know, men being intimidated by educated women with money, I think all of that is just like a little smoke screen. You know what I'm saying? It's just something to take everybody's attention off of what it is that we should do and need to be doing to benefit us as a whole, men and women. You know, we have to really, really accept and see that this division ain't doing nothing but making shit worse for us. Like, it's just causing more complications. And the biggest, like I was just talking a few minutes ago, like, the biggest thing is the children. We got to start thinking about legacy, and women need to start thinking about legacy too. If we start thinking about legacy, then we'll start to understand, okay, we're going to be affecting a whole nother generation with the shit that we doing. But anyway.
I do believe men are the ones who have the most control of that. If we wake up and realize we got to take charge of this, it's not by telling the women what to do. It is by not playing their game. As I said before about the Adam and Eve comparison, we have to not, the women have been sold a lie and they just bought onto a hook, line, and sinker. So we have to consider them by far gone. So once we know our roles and do our pattern, and we accept, when, like we're talking about children now, when we're ready to have children, then we'll start vetting the females. But until we actually get to a more stable position where it's like, okay, I got the castle built, let's go with that way, rather than I know a lot of people fit this category, just trying to wing it and make it work, build it up. I think to try to have this heavier push, and the men have to be absolutely ready, being a higher point of readiness, and the women, they can just sit there and wait. They can just sit there and wait unless they tell Big Daddy Snake to get his shit together, try to change the rules up. Oh, and then when the men are ready, they're older, they're in their 30s and their 40s, they'll pick the younger women. They'll pick the younger women, not the women who got out there and got all strong and independent. Nah, y'all just damage goods at this point. Sorry. But your daughter there that Pookie and Ray Ray knocked you up with, hey, she might have some potential. Just saying. If I get her right now while she's young and I can train her properly, hey, she might make a decent wife. We'll start to change right there with your daughter. But on that note, men protect. I'm serious. Yeah. There's a female who from my past, you know, she's single mother, yada yada. But it's like I'm looking at her, all this train of, yeah, she's fucked, she's damaged good. I would be a fool to go anywhere near that. But then I noticed that she got some daughters. I'm like, the daughters actually looking pretty sharp. Of course, they're not ripe yet. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. But there's potential. But there's some potential there. Hey, maybe. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would I go with the old, busted up, used vehicle, or I can get the hot, fresh, ready one right there? Still got that new car smell.
Oh shit! Yeah. I mean, you make a point. It's a solid point. It's a solid point. I like what you were talking about though, because like men, guys, I'm telling you, and I'm coming from my own mistakes that I made. Younger guys that's watching right now, if you out there and you playing the field right now, you get messing with some of these chicks, you vibing with them, man. Some of them you're finding that you're having a great connection with these chicks. Always remember that they could fuck around and potentially be the mother of your child, the mother of your seed. Always remember that, man. And be very curious, vigilant and cautious, and really get to know this chick. You see what I'm saying? Because one thing that you don't want to do is have a child with somebody that is not ready to raise a child. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. And you don't want to have a child if you ain't ready to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? So I like how Tony was saying it. He like, look, get your shit together, get all your ducks lined up, you know, cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure your shit is set up and situated. Then, now that you got your shit straight, you can now add a woman into the field, add potential children to the situation. You know, I wish I would have had that wisdom when I was younger. But that's what I mean when I was saying earlier, man. We are the ones who have to train these next generations. We got to train our children to let them know so that our further offspring could do the right thing so that we can reverse these generational curses. That's what I view those as. I view these as generational curses. And when I look back in my history, I'm talking about from me all the way to my great-great-grandfather. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And then we can go on my dad's side too. And sometimes I just look back and I'm like, yo, this whole shit is fucked up. And I'm not judging none of them. I ain't judging none of my fathers before me or my mothers. All I'm thinking to myself is I'm like, how can I change this shit? Like what can I do now that I'm alive that could further, you know, change the trajectory of my blood and my bloodline? You know, that's all I'm thinking about. And yeah, I fucked up. I done made mistakes. You know, my son was born when I was 21 or 22. I was still a kid myself. I was dealing with so much mental and emotional shit. I didn't know if I was coming or going. And like I said, it really messed me up in the game. I didn't have any type of structure to follow from. I didn't have my father or nobody, so I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I'm thankful to God that eventually, even though I was older and it took me years to really come to this space, that I finally now understand the importance of all of this and gaining security, gaining that solid foundation. You know what I'm saying? Period. So I'm happy and excited about that, and I'm so thankful for that. And I hope that me doing that is going to change everything for my kids, for my kids' kids, for my kids' kids, and hopefully this generational curse will be reversed. That's my goal. You know, so it is what it is, man. But I think this is definitely a great topic, and I like how we were able to kind of transition it into kind of like the root of this shit, like the root of, you know, men being intimidated, you know, by educated women with money, and where a lot of that shit stemmed from. And then men aren't intimidated. We're really just kind of like, yo, we don't really care about that shit. What we really care about is our legacy, straight up. So, but yeah, man. Honestly, with that being said, man, yeah, I think we definitely was able to kill it and dig deep on that one. Guys, if y'all watching right now, be sure y'all throw a like on this video and on this episode. Also, I put a link in the chat. So if any of y'all want to tap in, if y'all got, you know, any feelings, any concerns, any questions, go ahead and comment in the chat. Point over to the left, but yeah, over in the chat, I do have the link in here. So if you guys want to hop in and tap in, if you want to ask a question, if y'all got like feelings or anything about what we're talking about, we would love to hear what y'all think. And y'all can definitely click the link in the chat to tap in. And yeah, that's for any episode.
Do we got any current comments we could holler at real quick?
So yeah, we do got a couple here. Okay, so yeah, some of these comments I already know what it's about, and I'm gonna get with them, so it's not really pertaining to the episode. But yeah, we don't really, honestly, we don't have that many comments right here, which is cool. It's all good. But yeah, like I was saying, man, I think we definitely was able to dig deep on that topic, and yeah, you know, just coming back and falling back to the beginning of the whole episode. Like I said, You know, I'm sure that there are some men that's definitely intimidated. But women, let me tell y'all something. So, girls, you ladies, women with the education and the money and all that, I want y'all to think about something for a second. The men that you need to be worried about are the men that's actually going to see you walking in that insecure state, feeling like you need to brag and boast about your education and your money, and thinking that that makes you valuable. And it's going to be those men that's going to fucking leech on you like a snake, or like a blood sucking vampire, and they're going to leech and they're going to suck all that energy out of you, and they're going to use you up for all that money you got. And they're going to definitely take advantage of you. So it's something that you definitely want to think about. If you think that you don't need to depend on no man, and you know, your education solidifies you and your money solidifies you, then be ready for that dude that's going to actually suck you dry. And that's actually that's actually not masculine, but rather, you know, doesn't mind being taken care of by a woman. Be ready for that.
Because you're opening the door for it. You know, you're putting yourself in that role, and why not? Because when you got consenting adults, for better or for worse, if you're agreeing to it, bam, you can't call him the bad guy because you allowed it. The same thing goes for men. If a woman is you're trying to be the provider, protector, but your woman is not being appreciative of what you do, she just over here laying around, just not taking care of the kids, the house is always dirty while you out there busting your ass for that bill, you're allowing it.
Yeah. And then even also, if y'all have kids and you making all that money and he ain't doing shit, don't feel twisted or retarded when he say, oh, I want to get full custody of the kids and I'm putting you on child support. Don't feel no type of way when that shit happen either. Because at the end of the day, that's what's really happening in some of these situations. Like, that's a real thing. It's men that's actually, you know, asking for child support from women. It's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So, especially if they're not working and doing their thing and they're taking care of the kids and boom, bam, boom, and they've built that type of, like, you know, nurturing relationship with the children. Of course, they're going to want the children with them. So, teachers on.
And if you're a woman walking in that masculine energy, here come the masculine consequences. I honestly don't think a lot of you women are ready for that. You're not ready. You're not built for that. You like the prestige of it, but you're not. But when it comes to that work and that trial, far and few.
Y'all better put that masculine energy up. I'm telling you, stop trying to be masculine, because you're not. Period. You're not masculine. You don't have a dick and you don't have balls. So stop acting like you do. Okay? Because you're gonna learn real quick, and you're gonna realize, you're gonna understand once you start dealing with them consequences and you start seeing what it's really like to be a man or to walk in masculinity. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna be miserable. You're gonna be scared because, like Tony said, you're not built for it. Just like men ain't built for being feminine. And when we walk in that feminine energy, guess what we end up dealing with? The freaking repercussions of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We end up dealing with that. There's consequences to men walking in femininity and trying to walk in that shit. And it's terrible. It can really drive a man crazy.
You get with these entitled men who just over emote everything, and they're the ones who just wreck the most shit in our society too, because of the lack of masculinity of actually controlling your emotions and worrying about the long-term positive objective. Not saying that just men are good. It's just that we provide the structure, that aiming point of where is this ship driving to. That's what men need to accept. Men who are not raised that way, they end up doing the fuck shit. And then you got women running saying, well, men do it too. Well, who raised them? Y'all trying to be all independent, and you didn't accept your role as a parent because you're still looking for somebody to take care of you. Your sons and daughters are emulating that. Your daughters are going to be you, and your sons are going to be a violent version of you, if not more fruitier version of you. Because you didn't appreciate a masculine man doing the role to actually say, hey, no, we're doing this way. And it's for the greater good. Because of a leader and a subordinate. If the leader is on point, leading you to a positive outcome, why not follow him? Men do it all the time. where any kind of role of, matter of fact, Kevin, you just got promoted to being a supervisor, right?
Or PT director. So like
PT.
director over the PT, yeah.
So he's the man in charge, and he has his subordinates. So if he's doing his part of leading positive results, the subordinates are going to follow him, and they're probably going to just take that off by default. But he has to know his role of trying to get that positive outcome for the better of the group. That's masculine. That's what men need to do. And women respect it. If your man is paying the bills and leading the household good, you win. you got a strong leader to help you. You win.
Yeah. Like you said, look, women understand that if the man is thriving and succeeding and growing, you are going to benefit from that shit. You're going to benefit from every dime of it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't with no greedy, crazy narcissistic man, you're going to benefit from every dime that man gets. If you're a masculine, loving, caring man, a man that wants to provide, wants to take care of his family, wants to even love and spoil you, you're going to benefit off of that. So, stroke that man's ego. Tell him you love him. Call him daddy. You know what I'm saying? Tell him you appreciate him. Tell him he can do whatever he put his mind to. Make sure his balls is empty. You know what I'm saying? Keep the balls empty. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that I'm telling you, if women only understood how much easier it could be for them in these situations, if they just relaxed and just fell in position to what it is, they'd realize that it's a lot less complicated for them. And going back to what you said earlier, like with the whole, the women are raising the boys, right? They're raising the boys, they're raising the men. This is a fact. This is 100% fact. Because like I kind of spoke on the complications between, my son, my first child, and that whole thing. It's been rough. I'm accountable for my stuff. I'm accountable for, where I wasn't there and where things was real difficult for me in terms of adapting to everything. I can be accountable for that shit, right? But in the nutshell, we all make mistakes. When a man comes in and he changes his mistakes and he does what he has to do, and he's coming with the right energy and love and truth and wanting to do the right thing and positive energy. Women who move in this energy that's false masculine can really sabotage a good thing for the child. And especially if women are leading that child away from their father or lying to that child about their father and having them think wrong things about their father that's not true, that's even more terrible. You see what I'm saying? Because it's further teaching and passing on that toxic energy to the kid, to the boy. You see what I'm saying? And that's the messed up part about it. These women, I don't think that they realize that them moving in this false masculinity, it's affecting the fuck out of the men, the kids. Because now when they see their father in this situation and they're seeing their father and like this lie, guess who they're gonna view the same way? They're gonna view themselves the same way. They're gonna have this issue with loving themselves and accepting who they are as a self, because of what they're learning from their mother about their father, the man that they come from. So, a lot of these things, I just say it all to say, like, just going back on the point that you was making, like, y'all, these women who be wilding and acting toxic and they don't need to depend on a man, be careful with the kids, man, especially the son. If you got a son, be careful. Cause he gonna walk with those issues, man. It's gonna be hard for him at first. Trying to establish himself and trying to be secure and have a solid foundation as a man and a grown man. So, yeah, man.
He could even grow up hating the whole concept of masculinity. Have you seen that one TikTok video going around? This one feminized little boy just shitting on men. He's got these long ass nails of his. Like, a man can't think for themselves. Whoa. I'm like, really? And it was a highly feminized, feminazi female who raised this little boy to honestly be that way. It's like, oh, wow.
I'm gonna see if I can find that real quick, man, and then we're gonna wrap up that episode. But I'm just out of curiosity, I'm gonna see if I can find that.
Don't find it. It's cringy as hell.
Okay, all right. Fuck it, I ain't. Yeah, I ain't gonna worry about it. Yeah, man, but all of that stuff is crazy. Even like men, claiming to be heterosexual and they painting their nails and shit. Like, come on, man, that shit is crazy. I don't know if you've seen that, but
I've seen some people.
Shit.
I've seen that. I remember seeing that man with the freaking purse. I walked in on some associates of mine, and there's nail polish there. I'm like, whose nail polish this? Oh, it's only here because I gotta keep my nails hard because I bite them. I'm like, yeah, fucking right. I already see you with the fruity. I already see you with the fruity swish. I mean, come on, you gonna lie to me and play with my intelligence? Whatever.
It's crazy, bro. But yeah, as far as this though, man, like I said, man, and obviously from what we see, men are not intimidated by educated women with money, man. Honestly, like I said, that's not really our main focus. It's cute, you know what I'm saying? But in all honesty, we have our mindset, we have our agenda, and we're focused on what we're trying to do. Like at the end of the day, I mean, if the shit ain't working for her, you know what I'm saying? Or if she's educated and it's not really producing anything to solidify her, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it does say with money. So even if she got money, like, not really concerned with that. That's more like a woman looking at a man. I think women are highly concerned with that. Why? Because they know that eventually they're gonna have to depend on that man. So that's why they're concerned about if the man has money and all that. We don't give a fuck about that, honestly. So.
Last note. Dave Chappelle made a skit about that, showing again how men are not intimidated. Some men look forward to it. Remember the one where he knocked up Oprah?
Oh shit! I didn't see that skit. That's back on the show? That's back when he had the show.
Yes, he was basically banging Oprah, one of his skits, and then Oprah came up pregnant, gave him the call, and he's like, I'm rich, I knocked up Oprah. And so is that an intimidating event, or is he looking forward to it?
Yeah, he's happy as shit about that. Yeah, he's gonna be rich for life out this boat. Yeah. So yeah, we're not intimidated by it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm shit. Before, if I would have, when I met my wife would have told me like, oh, I'm actually rich. My mom, my dad, they're rich, and I come from money. Shit, I would be intimidated. I'd be like, yo, that's what's up. Like, let's open up some doors. You feel me? Like, if anything, a man is actually gonna be like, that's what's up. So that's something y'all need to understand too, ladies. Like a man ain't intimidated by that. If anything, the dude gonna be like, yo, this is lit. I actually want to see how I can use that for leverage to do what the fuck I want to do. That's really what men are thinking at the end of the day. But anyway, man, without further ado, man, look, I mean, yeah, we actually was able to touch on that, and it was a great topic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Let us know what y'all think in the comments, man. If you got some different thoughts or whatever, or if you feel differently, men, women, if y'all watch this and y'all like, yo, I really want to get some shit off. I want to talk to y'all about it. We'll do a part 2 of this episode. And, you guys, y'all could just, comment below and let us know, and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll get you on the show. If any of y'all women kind of feel like, boom, bam, boom, I feel this way, I feel that way. So just let us know in the comment, yo. Look, we thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking. Thank y'all for the support and everything. And we're going to keep the episodes coming. You got anything else you want to say, Tony, before we finish out the episode?
Nope. Just whatever role you pick, be aware to suffer those consequences. That's about it.
There you have it, y'all. Y'all know I end every episode off with this right here. All right. Every man is a king of his own kingdom. Embrace your masculinity and build your kingdom, kings. Salute.